Hello everyone, and welcome back to this channel. Today we'll be talking about a rising Brazilian rock band whose lives were cut short in their prime. This video is the story of Mamonas Assassinas. Okay, first disclaimer. My Portuguese is not very good, so if I end up mispronouncing anything, I do apologize in advance. So now that we got that out of the way, first we must discuss the lead singer, Alexander Alves Leite, or Gino. He was born in the East Brazilian town of Ereche on March 5th, 1971, to Hildebrando Alves Leite and Celia Ramos Alves. When he was 2 months old, he and his parents moved to the larger city of Guarulhos in Sao Paulo for a better future. Alexander was given the name Gino by his Spanish grandmother, who had a difficulty pronouncing his name. As a child, he started singing, and by the time he was 5, he would be the main singer in his church's children's choir. Gino would continue to be active in his church's music scene until his vocal instructor perished in a factory accident where she was employed. He stopped attending his church as a result. In his school years, Gino would be popular amongst his classmates, especially around female students. His peers noted his charismatic nature despite having behavioral problems with his teachers and principals. At 17, Gino participated in a dance contest on a popular variety show and won, and also participated in another variety show. He decided to drop out after completing his second year of high school. In March 1989, a worker from a typewriter company named Sergio Rasec de Oliveira, better known as Sergio Rioli, was introduced to Mauricio Hinotto, better known as Bento Hinotto, by Mauricio's brother and Sergio's co-worker Alberto. Sergio had an undeniable talent for drumming, while Bento had a knack for guitar. After discovering their musical affinity and talent, Sergio and Bento formed a band. Sergio's brother, Samuel Rasec de Oliveira, better known as Samuel Rioli, was initially not interested in music, but would later play electric bass. Their band was named Utopia, where the three played covers of other Brazilian rock bands on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. During a concert at Parque Sicap in July 1990, the audience requested the band to play the Guns N' Roses hit song Sweet Child of Mine. But the band didn't know the lyrics, so they asked one of the audience members for help. As fate would cross paths, Gino was in the audience and volunteered to come up on stage. Despite Gino not knowing the lyrics, his performance would captivate the public with his charismatic stage presence and his vast sense of humor that the public would enjoy. After his performance, Gino became the official frontman. That same year, keyboardist Julio César Barbosa, known as Julio Rasec, would be incorporated in Utopia. Marcio Araujo would also be incorporated as keyboardist for a brief time, before leaving the band for college. Utopia would meet up with a producer 2 years later and release their self-titled LP. But unfortunately, the LP would only sell a measly 100 copies, making it a flop. Despite the setback, Gino would continue to perform with the band and promote his band in the Sao Paulo area, even asking to perform at the opening of a gymnasium in his hometown in Guarulhos, much to the chagrin of those who were in charge of the opening. Gino would also take up government jobs, including being an entertainer at political events where he would do imitations of Brazilian celebrities. As time passed, Gino became more aware of his own comedy chops and realized that the funny joke songs on their LP were much more popular than their serious tracks. The rest of the band would take note and decided to reinvent their image. With the help of producers Reg Bonadillo and Rodrigo Castano, Utopia would record 2 demos, Mina, which would be later retitled Peludos Santos, and Robocop Gay. Utopia would become the satirical rock band Mamonas Assassinas. The name Mamonas Assassinas has a double meaning. It could translate to killer castor beans, which is part of a toxic plant, or killer breasts. Their 2 demos and new song, Vida Vida, would be sent to record labels, including Sony Music and EMI. Rafael Ramos, who was not only a drummer of another band, but also the son of EMI's artistic director, João Augusto Soares, ended up listening to the demo tape and begged his father to hire them. Despite not being a fan of their sound, João would sign Mamonas Assassinas on April 7, 1995. Shortly after being signed, Mamonas Assassinas would travel to Los Angeles to record their album. Their label wanted a minimum of 10 songs, but the band wrote 12 songs in a week. Although their album was originally going to include 15 songs, EMI would exclude one of their songs, Don't Fart on Me, due to the song having excessive profanities. Nevertheless, their self-titled debut album was released on June 23, 1995, where one of their songs, Vida Vida, would blast through Brazil's music scene the next day and would sell 25,000 copies, 12 hours after Vida Vida was first played on Brazil's 89 FM rock radio station. Their debut album would include Portuguese Vida, Foro, Mexican music, heavy metal, music sertaneja, and pagoda-style samba. Although the tracks contained foul language, they were very popular with children and teenagers, and the band was an instant celebrity. They would tour around Brazil and would make appearances on various popular shows. By the end of 1995, Mamonas Assassinas had sold over 3 million copies of their debut album and appeared on many Brazilian magazine covers. As March 1996 came, Mamonas Assassinas would be offered to perform in Portugal. They happily accepted a sign that the band was going to be worldwide. But around this time, Julio Rasec, the keyboardist, would be haunted by a premonition about a plane crashing down. He would later confide to his hairdresser about his fear, and his demeanor would change from easygoing and positive to a negative and quiet. His hairdresser would offer a prayer to comfort him. Despite his fears, he would perform alongside Mamonas at the Estadio Mané Garrincha in Brasilia on March 2, 1996, in front of 4,500 fans. This would be their last performance. Shortly after finishing, the whole band, alongside their roadie and Gino's cousin, Isaac Soto, and bodyguard Sergio Saturnino, boarded a Learjet 25. The band planned to take a day off to spend time with their families before leaving for Portugal the next day. Their plane took off from Brasilia. The trip would go smoothly until visibility problems plagued the pilots as they were going to land at their destination. The pilots decided to turn around to land safely. Unfortunately, they lost control of the aircraft and crashed to the side of a forested mountain in Serra de Cantareira. At 11:16 p.m., Mamonas Assassinas, the roadie, bodyguard, and 2 pilots were killed upon impact. The death of Mamonas Assassinas would send shockwaves all over Brazil, and many television stations would change their scheduled programs to pay tribute to this band. Schools in Guarulhos would suspend classes due to their immense popularity. The joint funeral for all of the band members were attended by over 100,000 visitors who were there to pay respects. They were later buried at the Parque das Primaveras cemetery as fans crowded on the street to say goodbye. To this day, Mamonas Assassinas are still remembered and continue to be celebrated after 27 years after their untimely deaths. Thank you for watching this video, and let me know down in the comments what you would like for me to talk about in the next video. Thank you.